In our Board of Adjustment meeting with a word of prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. Wes Marriott has volunteered to give us our prayer, and Tom Halliday, I knew that, sorry, has offered to lead us in the pledge.
Our dear Heavenly Father, we are so grateful for this opportunity that we have to discuss the matters of Provo City, and we are grateful that we have this wonderful country and the freedoms that we have. And please bless us that we'll be able to discuss in a kindly manner and connect with one another, and that the things we will discuss will be resolved. And we are grateful for Provo City, and please bless it. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, thank you for being here for today's meeting. We only have one item listed for today's meeting. I remind the applicants, Joel and Sarah Acey, today that if it does not go your way, there's always an opportunity to appeal the decision made by the board today. The appellate procedure is through the district court, and you can get more information from Provo City staff if needs be. But I'll read the first item into the record. Item number one is Joel and Sarah Acey, is that right? Request a variance to the building height from 15 feet to 30 feet for the construction of a two-story home located at 1510 West, 500 North in the residential manufactured home park RM zone, North Park neighborhood. What we'll do is we will allow the Provo City staff to provide us their report and their input, after which we'll ask for the applicant to come to the lectern and provide us any information that you'd like us to hear, and we'll go to that point so far. So Aaron, we'll turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you. Just to orient you with the property, so this is 500 North here. This is the property. It accesses off of 500 North and is a flag lot, essentially, against Provo City Parks and the River Trail. The zoning on the property is with this RM zoning, which is a mobile home park zone. You can see that most of these in here are mobile homes, and that zone is accessed off this cul-de-sac street that is separate from this home here. The request is to go from 15-story maximum height to 30. With the RM zone, you are maxed out at 1 story or 15 feet, which makes sense for a mobile home park. But looking at this property, you can see how this isn't really, even though the zoning's attached, this property is kind of a standalone property. These are all fences here, and this is adjacent to the park and adjacent to these single-family homes here. All of these single-family homes in the RC zone can go up to 35 feet, so they can have 2 stories, while this one cannot. There are additional circumstances on the property that staff found that we believe are hardships and therefore recommending approval. One of them is the 100-foot setback from the river. So you've got the river's edge over here, which takes all this land of the property out from buildable space, so you can't build anything in there. On top of that, there's a sewer line that runs directly through the middle of the property. You can't build on top of the sewer line. So to get the square footage that a typical single-family home has, 1 story wouldn't cut it in this case because of the different constraints of the property. So they're asking to go to a 2-story home, so get a variance from that height requirement. This is just elevation of the plan that we're looking at. Staff found that, like I said, we believe there's a hardship because of the circumstances of the the zoning placement, where it's not really connected to the rest of that mobile home park, the 100-foot setback from the river, the sewer line. Staff also feels that this wouldn't really affect the spirit of the law. It seems more similar and in line with the single-family homes on the street that access off 500 North than it is on the cul-de-sac of the mobile home park. So we would request approval of this variance.
Thank you. Is there any questions for staff before we hear from the applicant?
So the access is off 500?
Yeah, you can see here, there's a flagpole driveway here that accesses the property.
Okay.
Thank you. Let me get back to you. Good. We invite the applicants now to come up.
Do you have any specific questions about it? Anything that,
So where are you guys planning on, like, are you doing that little strip to get in?
oh, there we go. Yeah, so the driveway's right here. This is the only access into the property. And then the buildable area for the house is just right here because the sewer line has a 10-foot setback on each side. So even it's really a tight space.
Okay.
And we're not building any other use in a single-family home for our family. And we've already met all the neighbors, and we're just so excited. We were shocked at how many owner-occupants are in this neighborhood, and they have kids, and we're just so excited. So,
Great.
Is there any other access to this property besides that flag portion, that
no,
flagpole?
no, and it looks really bitty, but it's a car lane, and if you like had to squeeze two cars by, you could. It looks really small on the map, but it is a single family. It's a single drive.
Yeah. And then I'm sure Provo City's done a nice job of posting about the hearing today. Have you heard anything from any neighbors, specifically the neighbors that may be in these areas
Yes,
that are over here?
David. Yep. So he's offered to help us fix a plumbing problem. So this is David. He's lived there since the 60s. We met him, talked to him for a while, and then we were over measuring the other day, and he came over through the fence, and we're talking, and we're really excited about living next to him. We met these guys. This house is owned by the landlord over here. We met him. He talked to us about here. We met him. We met this family. We met this family, and this family, and then this family. She's been there since the 40s. We didn't get to talk to this family, but we just said, hey, how is the culture of the neighborhood? And it's like, we all have each other's back. We're really excited. So we're the ACs, and we are applying, and they're going to send you a letter. And if you have anything to say about it, please let the city know. And they're like, oh, no, you're fine. I mean, why would we care if you build two? So long story short, we haven't heard any objections, but we did want to welcome them if they had them.
Yeah.
Is there going to be any obstruction of view from, I don't know, like currently is there anything right now that?
Well, I mean, we warned David that he might not hear the train as much because we're going to block his view. We're going to block his view of the train and the freeway. But really, this is only his backyard. This is so overgrown right here that they don't have any type of real view of anything. And then, I guess maybe we would block their view of these trees directly, but they have this beautiful driveway to their side. It's all tree lined.
Good. Any other questions for the applicants?
You gonna be able to keep the tree?
Yeah. Well, so these are okay, but we're going to plant trees in between them so that they'll grow up and still maintain this lane. It's just a beautiful lane. And then also where we're going to put the house, we feel like it'll be a nice view from that parking lot. You'll see it'll feel really residential because that's the first thing you'll see when you're in the parking lot is a house. That big one? So the big one is really healthy. That's the other thing. We talked to the neighbors because he actually personally, this neighbor over here, he personally removed all these trees in the last year. And he said, this one looked really good. That was my degree, not that I climbed up in it, but it looked really good. So we're going to preserve the tree.
Great.
Yep.
So is one of the folks there close, or are they the owners to the lot previously?
So no, the owner of the lot, he used to have this lot and this lot, but he now owns this lot. And he's really excited to have us. Yeah.
Good. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
The neighborhood chair, I presume, is not here, but is there anybody else that would like to comment?
She is the neighborhood
Oh,
chair.
you are the?
Oh, is he? Oh,
Okay, but he's not here today. Okay. One other person from the general public, would you like to comment?
I'm Richard Dubois.
Do you mind coming up here and stating, just so we can get it on the record?
Yes, my name is Richard Dubois. I'm a real estate agent and representing the ACs in the purchase of that property.
Okay. So you're 100% behind them. You want this
Absolutely.
to happen.
I'm going to be the first one with a shovel on the lot.
Good. Thank you. I just had one more question, Aaron, for you. Why does the city, I guess, when the zone was prepared, I mean, and then the city doesn't gain, there's no access point here, was there an intent or something to have access here? Is that, or do we know that far back?
I looked for any history on that, any commentary on that, and I couldn't find any evidence why this was zoned that way. Okay, yeah, if you have
know,
more.
You know why it was zoned that way?
It used to be all owned by one.
If you wouldn't mind coming up.
I know, we had so much fun getting to know the neighborhoods. So this entire lot used to be owned by this parcel. So that's why it would have been zoned, is because that was one big lot.
And it was recently just subdivided, or?
No, it's been like this, he says at least since the 60s, since he was in there, but he was part of the split. We didn't ask him too much because we didn't really care, but he did mention that this whole thing was owned by one person when he bought this trailer.
Yeah.
But the trailer that was on there, the home that was on there that had been there since the 60s as well.
Thank you. Aaron, are you aware of anything else down in that area that would cause concern if granting this variance, if somebody else in a similar situation? I mean, because essentially we're pulling them out of the zone, right? We're saying, we're granting you a variance, you're staying in the zone, but effectively we're pulling them out of that zone. Is that going to, is there been any other concerns that you're aware of?
I haven't heard any concerns. The interesting thing is, in the zone, you can have a clubhouse up to 35 feet in height. So it's not out of ordinary for a mobile home park zone to have a two-story building. Just in this case, it's going to be a house instead of a clubhouse. So I don't think there's any concerns. I haven't heard of any concerns from neighbors.
So if somebody came and, I mean, on that side, yeah, maybe this is better, right here, and right here, and right here, like say all these are sold in the next, because this guy passes away or this guy moves or whatever, and they come and they're like, well, they have a two-story. Would you guys probably just say, yeah, let them do the thing, or would you say no?
They would have to request a variance as well.
Right, but would that be something?
If other people came and asked to go to two-story, we would suggest, let's rezone this to RC, which is the blue zone to the south. It would make sense for Sarah to have RC on her lot, except she's very constrained under real estate purchase.
Right.
Her timing is very tight, she doesn't have time to go through
A whole move,
Zoning
yeah.
change.
but staff would support an RC zone there too.
Okay, cool. That's great.
So Sarah, if you'll have a party once a year, we'll call you a clubhouse and you're good.
Luckily, that wasn't on the record.
I think my last question is, are you guys actually going to do that house?
Yeah, so
It's a good-looking house.
and we will live there in 20 years, you can call me on it, I'm just kidding. 11 years.
11 years, yeah.
Well, good, thank you, and staff, nice job.
Did he have something to say? He was raising.
Other two stories in that.
But one of the house has two stories. Yeah, that house has two stories.
Oh, okay.
It looked like there was more.
There's two stories in that zone.
Okay.
Interesting,
It's a two-story house, whether he's allowed to or not, he does.
yeah,
Okay.
interesting, thank you. Okay, any other questions or concerns
I don't believe
that
so.
need to be raised? All right, well, we'll close the comment period and have a discussion amongst the board.
It looks good to me. I think all my questions are resolved. I don't know what you guys are thinking. I think it sounds good to me.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's going to clean up the lot, and it's going to put a nice piece of real estate there. It just looks like it's a win-win situation. There's nobody here saying their view's going to be blocked or anything. I think it's a good conversion to something better.
Good. So is anybody willing to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we pass this request, item number 1.
I presume you want to include the staff's findings?
Yes.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve the requested variance from item number 1 according to the staff's recommendations. Do we have a second? I'll second that. All in favor, say yes.
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 Passes unanimously. Congratulations. You've got a great lot there. I run by there. It's good. That's fantastic.
So it
So
looks good.
with that, we're completed. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.